Hey guys, it's Kelly and Daniel from FitnessBlender.com, and today we have day 4 of the free 5-day challenge for busy people.
So today is a nice combination of a yoga blend along with a little bit of upper body strength training. So it's going to be a nice easy flow through for that yoga and a few traditional strength training exercises blended in.
All you're going to need for this routine is a set of dumbbells, so let's go ahead and get started with that cardio warm-up.
All right everybody, let's go ahead and get moving with that boxer shuffle, get those feet moving. Now if you haven't done, or if you've been sedentary for a while, you might want to do a little bit longer warm-up, so kind of pause after this and get a little extra in there. Otherwise, if you've already been moving around today, this should be plenty to get you nice and warmed up. We're not going to be torturing you too much today, so
it won't be that bad. In about 10 seconds, we're going to switch to high knee pulls.
Keep those lungs open, keep those feet moving.
2, 1, here we go.
So make sure you're working against yourself with this. You push and pull with those hands up and down, as well as drawing that knee up.
Contract your core while you're doing this, and it turns into a really good abs exercise as well.
And we're actually filming this on a Saturday, so it took a little coaxing to get us out here to actually do this.
We're kind of cranky.
We've been working some long hours recently.
Next up, we're doing butt kickers. We wanted to do it 5 days in a row, just like you guys, so we know exactly how you're feeling on each day. We don't want to put you through anything that we wouldn't do ourselves.
Exactly.
Sorry, the low impact version of this, just take out the jumping. Just kick yourself in the butt.
Just keep those lungs open. You should feel that breathing rate start to increase a little bit. The heart rate should be increasing. You should be starting to get a little bit warmer, maybe even starting to break a sweat, just a tiny, tiny bit.
All right, next up we're going for toe touch circles. So plant your feet, come down to one foot, cross over to the other, and come up on that opposite side, then repeat in the opposite direction. It's a nice fluid stretch.
And while you're doing this, you're tilting those hips to try to get into that hip socket quite a bit, but also try to focus on rounding that back and stretching those obliques out as you go from side to side.
2, 1. All right, we're switching to arm swings. So out in front of your body and ventrally here. Just kind of mix it up, get your arms nice and warmed up. Keep your feet moving. $10 seconds, and we're going to switch to a squat with an overhead stretch. And that's going to be our last warm-up cardio move. We're going to move into the weight section. All right, here we go. Squat down as low as you can. Come up, stretch overhead.
So even though you're not using any weight, this is just a warm-up, still try to practice clean form for that squat, nice flat back. Kind of mimicking that angle of your shins with the angle of your torso and chest.
Get one more. All right, now keep your feet moving. I'm gonna move into that strength training section, so make sure you have your dumbbells nearby.
All right, let's go ahead and get started with our strength section. Now we're doing 40 seconds on, 15 seconds off for this, and we're doing 2 different exercises back to back in A, B, A, B. So we're going to be starting off with bicep curls, so go ahead and grab the dumbbells you need for that, and let's get started.
All right, I've got 12 in each hand for this.
And I'm using 20 in each hand. So elbows down by your sides, nice slow curl straight up to that shoulder, slowly back down, full extension, but still keep that bicep contracted. So try to get as much range of motion out of this as you can without letting that elbow slide. It's one of the biggest faux pas, I guess you could say, most people do when they're doing curls. They let their arms kind of come forward when they're curling as opposed to keeping those elbows back, which isolates that bicep much, much better.
All right, so remember this is 40 on, 15 off. Next up we'll be hitting the backs of the arms, the triceps with tricep extensions. So start figuring out what weight you might want to do for that and get off.
All right, jump those down. Tricep extensions, grab that weight for that one.
We'll stick with just 112 for this. I'm going to go over my head. What one are you doing? Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. So I'm using 15 per hand. Same thing with this one. You want to try to keep your elbow directly above your shoulder this time instead of directly below it like you would for a bicep curl. So try not to let those arms kick forward as you drop down. You want to try to keep those elbows, like I said, directly above that shoulder joint. Nice flat back. Try not to let your back arch. Keep those abs tight. Nice, slow, controlled motion.
Just about 10 seconds left. Then we're going to go into round 2 of the bicep curls. 2, 1. All right, drop that weight. I really don't like knowing how much left. I like knowing how much I have left.
Oh, how much more time you have to suffer through?
All right, here we go.
So again, nice straight posture. Elbows directly underneath that shoulder. Slowly curling that hand up to that shoulder as tightly as you possibly can without letting that elbow slide forward. Keep those lungs open. You have a tendency you want to hold your breath, especially if you're using a really heavy weight. Just take your time. Nice full range of motion.
15 seconds left. If you need to at any point, if your form starts to suffer, make sure you drop your weights. It's better to do it with proper form than it is to do it with heavier weight and lousy form. 3 seconds left. All right, back to that tricep extension. This is going to be quick but intense. You can tell my muscles are already talking to me.
All right. Start with that arm straight up. Bend the elbow only. Down as low as you can go with those hands. Right back up again. Now a lot of people have a tendency to want to stop their range of motion at a 90-degree on that elbow. If you have to do that, you're using too much weight, so drop that weight down, get that full extension all the way down back behind you.
Halfway.
Ooh, this is starting to burn.
Ten seconds. 2, 1. All right, next up we're doing an overhead press. So I'm going to use 12s for this again, but I might have to drop my weights. Let's see how this goes. 3, 2, 1, here we go.
All right, I'm trying 25 per hand. See how far I get through this. So nice, slow, controlled motion. Never try to build momentum into that weight. All that does is help you cheat a little bit. So the slower you go, the more isolation you get on that muscle through that entire range of motion.
Oh.
Again, flat back. If you want to do this seated, that's perfectly fine. Standing is just as fine as well, however that comes out properly. You just want to make sure you keep that back flat, so keep those abs contracted nice and tight.
All right, next up we're doing a dumbbell drop. So this one's kind of fun, especially painful. You're gonna want to probably choose a lighter weight for this.
Yeah.
Are you doing 2 hands again?
Yeah.
You can do it either way.
So start straight above your head, and then slowly down right in front of that chest, then right back up again. Woo. So you're gonna feel yourself having to lean back to counterweight those dumbbells in your hands. Make sure that you're trying to hinge from your ankle rather than your lower back. That's where most people are going to tend to kind of lean back like this rather than keeping their hips in a straight line from shoulder to ankle.
Got about 10 seconds left.
Oh, ouch, that burns.
All right, back to that overhead press. So for this one, I'm going to go a little lighter with 9 pounds per hand. And then I know the dumbbell drops I just did felt a little too easy, so I'm going to go heavier for that one next time around.
All right, I'm dropping down to 20 per hand for this round. I don't know if it's picking this up on the microphone, but it's actually raining like crazy outside right now. I can hear it on the roof.
We had a crazy storm this morning. It was
Yeah.
very exciting.
We had a river running through our front yard.
Practically. Not literally. seconds left.
At least we had a stream, literally. Right?
Yeah, it was literally a stream. We're not in any danger at the moment.
Yeah. All right. This is going to hurt. I'm too lazy to take the slugs out of my ankles, so it's going to make myself go through it. Nice flat back. Remember, hinging from that ankle as you need to counterbalance that weight.
So while you're standing here, keep a slight bend in your knees. If you want to, it's always a good idea to keep everything tight. So squeeze your glutes, pull in your core. There's no reason you can't be working all kinds of different muscles while you're working your upper body.
Oh man, that burns.
10 seconds left. 2, 1.
Ouch.
Okay, we're gonna need a lightweight for this next one too. It's a very different range of motion. We're doing both a ventral and a lateral Bentover fly. So a really different range of motion is going to hurt in a good way like crazy. So just like you would for a regular fly, come out. Now bring your weights back down and go out in front of your body.
Sorry, taking a little too long here.
Okay. Just make sure you're not using any swinging for any of this. If you have to swing to do this motion, you're probably lifting too much weight. Sometimes, I mean, even an exercise like this, if you start to get tired, drop your weights completely and you're still going to feel it. 10 seconds left. 2, 1. All right. Next up, we have a chest fly, so we're doing the opposite of this motion. We use 15 pounds per hand. This one. 2, 1.
I'm going slow again.
Press up into a bridge if you need some room from the ground there. Otherwise, if you have a bench, that works perfectly. A lot better, actually.
I'm having a little trouble
okay
today.
over there?
Not really.
You're still going. The show must
I think
go
I'm
on.
going to get fired after this one.
Not if you make me lunch. You keep your job if you make me lunch.
Keep those lungs open, abs contracted.
Oh. Right. Going back to the really light weights, just 3 pounds per hand for this. Here we go. Out to the sides, back down, and out in front of your body.
So make sure you're really focusing on keeping that back nice and flat. You don't want to let that back round out, especially when you're bringing those hands up in front.
And there's our halfway point.
Focus on that form. Try to get as much range of motion as you can. If you're feeling yourself really start to slide on range of motion, then drop your weight.
All right, last strength set. We're gonna do that chest fly again.
So I took all the slugs out of my handles here, so I'm actually down to 20 pounds per hand.
Inhale as your arms go down. Exhale as you press them back up.
Just make sure you're not holding your breath. Even though you want to keep those abs a little bit tight, press that lower back down the mat. Don't hold your breath.
Right. And that's it for the strength portion. So next up, the next portion is only body weight. So go ahead and grab a drink of water if you want to really quickly, and we'll be right back.
All right, so in this section, we're going to be doing a little bit of power yoga or power yoga-esque exercises. We're going to be doing things that are going to be taking a little bit of extra effort on your part to actually hold those positions and move from one to the next. We're doing these in an AB format, so we've got two different positions we're moving back and forth between. 40 seconds on,
40 seconds
and
on,
10 seconds off
rest.
to move into the next position. So
our first is alternating warrior lunges. So this is kind of similar to a mountain climber and the feet switching that goes on at the bottom. You're going into a really low lunge and then switch your feet, press up into a lunge, come back up for a quick stretch before you lower yourself back down. Get a good stretch again, then switch feet and just repeat.
Now, as you can see, Kelly and I are doing it slightly different ways. Kelly has her knee tucked underneath her body, and I have mine on the outside. I just like to drop down a little bit more, get a little more stretch to the hip flexor. It does not matter, whatever is most comfortable for you. Also, you can see I'm dropping into a lunge a little bit more. Just makes it a little bit more difficult, that's all.
Oh, are you trying to show off now?
I am.
Okay. So we have, I was going to do a boxer shuffle. You can keep your feet moving if you want to between these segments. Otherwise, we're doing an up dog to a down dog. So start off with your downward dog stretch. And then drop down for an up dog. Daniel's showing off again with the harder version. Good.
Yep.
Otherwise, if you want to make it even easier, don't worry about if you can't get your heels down or your head between your shoulders. That's okay, just do the best you can. But if you want to make it easier for this part, go ahead and rest your body on the ground and go into a cobra stretch instead of an up dog. It takes a little less core strength. Alright.
And back up again. Again, keep those feet moving a little bit. Let everything stretch out, let it relax a second. We're going right back into those alternating lunges or warrior position.
About 15 seconds left.
Keep those lungs open. Those core muscles should be engaging like crazy for this. And when those core muscles fire, you have a tendency to want to hold your breath. So make sure you're constantly breathing.
Alright, one last round of that down dog to up dog. We'll move on to our next group, starting in 3 seconds.
Feet and hands about shoulder width apart. Nice slow fluid movements.
So you're getting just a little bit of a stretch at each end of range of motion. 10 seconds left. Alright, next up we're going into a tricep push-up to a child's pose. So this is another strength stretch combination. It should feel really good. And you might even break a sweat. Actually, you probably break a sweat. So keep your elbows tucked in close to your sides. You can do the easier version like me, or go up on your toes for the harder version. And then come back for a child's pose stretch. So all of these yoga poses are things that require effort from the upper body. So these are all muscle groups we've already worked pretty well, even though briefly but thoroughly with that strength portion. So they should talk to you pretty quick during this yoga part. All right, next up we're doing a plank pull.
So with this one, you're out in a full plank position or push-up position, either on those elbows or on those hands. Up all the way, either on those knees or toes. One hand comes up, out to your side, tap your thigh, back up in front, and drop down. Try to get those shoulders as square to the ground as you can. You might need to use a slightly wider stance with those feet to help you hold that position.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder how long it would take for that to happen. Try not to lock out your arms.
Almost done.
Ooh.
All right, yeah. All right, starting that one back over again.
Tricep push up to child's pose.
Take your time, nice big, full deep breaths. Focus on that motion.
About 15 seconds left.
This is definitely not traditional yoga by any means. So if you want to modify these positions to make them more difficult, by all means do so. Or easier for that matter.
All right, back to that plank.
Let those shoulders relax for just a second. We're going to be holding that plank for a while.
Yeah.
All right, back out in that plank. Either high plank or low down those knees. Either stay up on those hands or down on those elbows.
Right. We need like a air traffic controller around here.
We're always running into each other.
10 seconds left. Oh, thanks.
All right.
All right. Next up, we're doing a downward dog with an extension plus a knee. So, back up into this. So sweep one leg up for a quick stretch, and then bring it in and tap your elbow with that knee. Come back and switch legs and repeat on the opposite side. So move nice and slow, so your arms have to work through that entire range of motion. Especially right here, try not to rush it.
And as you can tell, I have nowhere near the flexibility that Kelly does, which is perfectly fine. Constantly trying to push that range of motion. Try and get a little more flexible as you go.
All right, what's next?
All right, last one.
Rotating lunge.
Rotating lunge. You're going to be standing up. Easiest way to do this is start with those feet really nice and wide apart. Rotate off to one side, drop down into a lunge, and come right back up to center. Rotate those feet to the opposite direction, drop back down into a lunge, off the opposite direction.
So if you want to make it a little bit easier, you can cheat a little bit and use your hands as support on that leg. Otherwise, this is half strengthening on one side and the other side is getting a stretch. So they're alternating back and forth. Hang on, which leg is leading? About 5 seconds left.
And remember to take your time with all of these motions. The slower you go, the harder it's going to be. If you try to rush your way through it, you're going to find a nice spot to pause in where it's a lot easier to hold.
So up.
That downward dog again. Keep those lungs open. Again, nice fluid motion. Draw each position out as much as you can. Sorry, I'll lose it.
Yeah. I'm not trying to flash everybody.
Alright, that's the last one of those. Got one more of those rotating lunges. Take those feet out really nice and wide. And start it up.
So we took it relatively easy on you today, especially on that lower body, which you should know by now. It means we're going to really give it a good working over tomorrow. So tomorrow we've got HIIT and Probably some lower body strength training in the mix.
So we're definitely finishing this off with a bang.
Yeah. But we'll spare your upper body tomorrow because we just worked it today.
Just take your time. We're almost done.
All right.
All right, let it relax.
Now?
We're going to go into a little bit of a stretch cool down. So because we're using so much of those muscles to do those motions, we're going to take a little extra time to really stretch everything out with a nice relaxed posture. So let's start out with just a regular toe touch. Flat back to start out with, just drop straight forward, feet about hip width or narrower. Just go down as low as is comfortable with that flat back. Hold it for just a few seconds. And round those shoulders, drop the rest of the way. Try to keep those knees as straight as you can. And back up nice and slow. Which one do you want to go into next?
Let's go ahead and lean off to one side so you're stretching that inside thigh. Grab your arm and pull it across your chest.
So to really engage that inside thigh, you're going to want to drop the hip of the straight leg down towards that leg to really engage that inside thigh. Otherwise, pulling that arm across in front of your chest. Try to keep it nice and high and as close to your body as possible.
All right, go ahead and switch sides.
Nice full deep breaths. Try to recover as much as you can. Getting as much oxygen back into your system as possible.
All right, now let's similar stretch, only we're doing the front of the thigh here, the hip flexor. And go ahead and grab one of your arms and pull it back behind your head until you feel a nice stretch all through here.
Lean back to that torso a little bit as well. Get a little extra stretch to the front of that hip flexor, as well as a little extra stretch to that torso and abdominals.
All right, go ahead and switch sides. Get comfortable here. Pull your arm up.
Nice full deep breaths. Again, trying to get as much oxygen into your system as you can. Make sure you're breathing slowly.
All right. What do you think?
All right, let's go ahead and do, I'm going to drop down on the ground. We'll do a nice inside thigh stretch. So bring those feet together, pull them in nice and close. That torso straight up and down. Pull those knees down to the sides as much as you can. Try to stretch out to the inside of that thigh as much as possible. Using those muscles on the outside of those legs to draw those knees down. Again, just breathe normally.
Now, scoot back just a little bit and hold over your legs here so you'll feel the stretch change to the inside of your thighs here.
If you make sure you're keeping a really nice flat back, you'll feel it more on the inside of your hip joint. If you let that back just round out, you'll still feel a little bit in that hip joint, but you'll actually feel a little bit more through that lower back. Hold it just a little bit longer. And let it relax. Go and sit back up straight. We're going to kick one foot off to the side. The other foot is going to stay tucked in nice and close. Reach down towards that extended leg as far as you can. Your other hand's going to be coming up over the top, so you're open your chest up, out to the side. If you can't reach that foot, that's perfectly fine. Just try to keep that leg as straight as you can while reaching down. If you can grab that foot, try to pull those toes back just a little bit to get a little extra stretch to that calf. All right, one more on the other side. Same thing, switch it over. Grab that foot if you can. Hand comes up over top of your head. Stretch across. Nice relaxed breathing. release. Have time for any more? Is that good?
We're good.
All right.
I think so.
Okay, so that's the end of this routine. Hope you guys got a nice warm stretch out of all that stuff. Those muscles are kind of tingling a little bit from the work we've done. We have one more day to go, like Kelly said a little bit earlier, so make sure you stick around for that one. It's going to be a nice hard one that'll make you nice and sore the next day.
So eat really well, sleep well tonight, drink lots of water, take care of yourself, be ready to push yourself hard tomorrow.
Other than that, this workout is complete. See you guys tomorrow.